So we were in the middle of speaking skills, remember? Can you see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. So we were in the middle of speaking skills. Actually, we completed the significance of speaking skills, the essentials, barriers of speaking, and then we also completed effectiveness of speaking, verbal and non-verbal communication. Then we also did generating talk based on visual prompts, addressing a small group or a large formal gathering. Over. Then we thought we'll do public speaking as well as oral presentation in one class, so that it is all actually a part of the public speaking process. If you are addressing a small gathering or a large gathering, you have to follow the same rules and regulations of a public speaking oral presentation. A few differences are there that will prove beneficial to you if you use the PowerPoint presentation, the latest or the technological invent that has given us a lot of benefits for our presentation. I mean, if we forget certain things, or if we are not remembering the things in a logical, chronological order, these PowerPoint presentations, PowerPoints or the slides will help us a lot in doing the presentation in a proper manner. First, let us find out what oral presentation is altogether. It is a process of presenting a topic to an audience, like the way that your lecturers or your professors give you lecture in your day-to-day life. It is a typically a demonstration or introducing a new concept, a new product, addressing the gathering, whether it be coming from a similar background or from different backgrounds, people from different educational backgrounds or different economical, socio-economic background, or if it is a lecture on a new product being demonstrated, it is going to have, we will discuss in detail as to the audience analysis, what it audience on analysis is all about. And then it is a speech meant to inform the new beginning, or persuade somebody, or inspire or motivate somebody, or to build goodwill, or to present a new idea. For all these things, if you want to do one of these things or all of these things, oral presentation can be a great benefit to you. So what do these people do? Scholars, professionals, and students in all fields desire to disseminate the new knowledge they produce, and this is often accomplished by delivering oral presentations in a class. In conferences, you might have seen, if they have done some research on any project, they have found out something, they have discovered something that they will want to tell it to the other people. So what do? They organize seminars or conferences, or they even call people in public lectures, and then they'll organize it in to present that idea to the audience, or it can be any company meeting as well. Learn. So that is why it is very important in all fields of life, in all walks of life, you need to do effective presentation, which is very necessary skill in today's world. Wherever you go in the corporate world sector, the corporate sector, or the non-corporate as well, you have to, in your offices, in your colleges, if you are teaching something, all these are very necessary in the present day world. So you have to have a great skill at that. You need to know how to present certain things to your audience. So what are the things that are involved in oral presentation? We are going to deal in, typically involve in those three steps that we say, the 3 P's of presentation, we call it. What are they? The 3 P's of presentation plan, or in other words, there are also called 4 P's of presentation, but these mainly are 3 P's, of which the another P is an offshoot of that. planning, practicing, and presenting. First planning, then preparing. Preparing the what you have planned is also a part of it, and then you practice what you have prepared, and then you do the presentation. These are the 4 P's actually, but we are going to study them under the 3 P's of presentation. So what is the first and the foremost thing that you should do when you are asked to give an oral presentation? You need to plan as to what you are going to present. A great deal of planning is needed. Many theorists or many speakers say that more than 50% of the mistakes in presentation happen at the uh, stage of the planning, the initial stage, where if you have done a good deal of presentation, a good deal of planning, your presentation is going to be a successful one. If the planning is not there, if proper planning has not been done, and there are chances that your presentation may go as a disaster. So here a great deal of planning is needed. Lack of planning can bring lots of mistake during the presentation. Make sure to address the following issues. Focus your presentation on the audience. Who are they who are going to come and listen to you? It is your audience. So you have the complete focus of yours should be on your audience. Organize your information into 3 to 5 points or categories. You have to divide your information. That is, I even introduced to you that about it in your previous classes also, that you have to have this 3 things divided into any article, any paper, any content, or any essay that you are preparing. It should have some introduction, the middle body, and the conclusion. So you need to know how much of your audience are going to be listening, and you have to divide that information into 3 to 5 points. First, give the introduction. Okay, then the middle should be the core content, the crux of the topic has to be there. And then in trying to conclude, you need to tie up the broken threads. And then you have to build repetition, because this is very important. Because when somebody is reading, if they have missed out on some points in their reading, they will what do you say, they will go back and read it. But if they are listening, they cannot keep on asking the speaker to speak again and again. So what you have to do from your own side, you have to build repetition, keep on repeating the analogies, the story, the important core crux topics that you are dealing with has to be dealt with. Okay, then oral presentation requires a great deal of planning. Lack of planning can bring lots of mistake during the presentations. Make sure to address the following issues. Focus your presentation on the issues of your audience. Listening is much different than reading. Your audience cannot go back and read over something they missed or did not understand. Build repetition through internal summaries, transitions, analogies, and stories. As the picture suggests, you can say that if you are reading out from certain content, or your audience are reading out some handout has been given, they can always go back and listen. But if they are listening to you, it will be very difficult for them to understand the concept if they miss out on something. So it is essential for you to build repetition. And also you must have transition analysis, analogies, and stories to be done. Introduce yourself if needed, providing your affiliation and or credibility. Usually it happens if you are not a very famous speaker, for that matter. If Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, addresses a gathering, we all know that he is the Prime Minister of our country, and he is addressing the gathering. because he's a famous personality. Everyone will know. But if we are all, I mean, we are normal people, we do not have mm, so much of fame, or for that matter, as a student, you might not be known to your audience, but as a faculty, I might be known to you, isn't it? I might be known to the whole college. So I don't need to give my affiliation. But otherwise also, if a new speaker is speaking, it is good to give your self introduction in a very few lines, to give your affiliation. Like, I might say, I, Wahida Begum, from the Institute of Aeronautical. I need to have to say affiliation. Okay, I have to talk about affiliation and my credibility. Say that I, Wahida Begum, from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, am working as an assistant professor over here, and I have been mm, uh, teaching the BTech students, MBA students, communication skills and interpersonal communication. I teach soft skills. Like, I need to define my credibility as to what I am doing. Then that's how I can create an effective opening that will interest your audience. It's not that uh, as soon as you enter the lecture, you are trying to be very monotonous or same or boring or dull. You need to pose a question, give an amazing fact, or tell a short interesting story to catch, give a hook to your audience as well. Okay. Strengthen your speech by giving them a hook, by knowing your audience. What do you do? To inform, to persuade, and to entertain. Give them a hook, give them a topic, reveal your topic to the audience, and explain why it is important for them to learn about it. Don't say in the beginning of your presentation that I don't know why the people have called me to talk, I don't have much knowledge about this. All these things will diminish your credibility. They'll not Your audience will not be interested to listen to you if you say that I don't have so much of knowledge. They need something. If they are spending some time with you in front of the dais, then they want to take home something important. But if you, in the beginning itself, you tell them that I don't have much to say, they won't be interested in your speech. That's why it is advised that you should not say to your audience that I don't know much about the topic, I am not a good speaker, or I don't have much credibility. All these negative words about yourself you should never use in any presentation. Give a brief outline of the major points you will cover in your presentation. First, throw some joke to them. By keeping a record of the jokes, you can maintain one diary, and whenever you are presenting, you can use them relevant to the topic. Okay, so give them some major important points next as to what are they going to be taking home after this present completion of this presentation. You have to give them in points, and how it is going to help them in their future endeavors. If they are going to do like this, they're going to take up the picture suggest the people are very interested to look at or listen to what he is trying to say. Okay, explain your points, the main body, give clear explanations. You should do that in chronological order as the things have happened, or according to the understanding of your audience. Okay, give clear expressions, provide sufficient evidence to be convincing. Like, trying to make them understand, you have to give them several examples, several sufficient evidences, so that your audience believe in what you are saying. Use transitions between sections of your presentation. That is the introduction, body, and conclusion, as I told you just now. as well as between the points in your main body action. It is very important that you conclude your topic by trying to tie the broken threads. I mean, try to complete the whole information in 3 segments: introduction, the middle body, and the conclusion. The main body will suggest as to what is the future action. Use analogies and stories to explain complicated ideas and also build repetition. That is very much important for the students or for your audience to know, because you have analyzed your audience already. When you are preparing, at the preparation or the planning stage itself, you must know as to who is going to be your audience. Then accordingly you can prepare your content. Okay. That is why you need to know their educational background, their thinking process, their age, okay, socio-economic status, everything you must know as to whom are you going to present. So after this preparation is over, we will talk about what are the things that you should do to do a great presentation. Here we'll talk about the real important content that we are going to talk about. Summarize your points. After giving your complete presentation, show them in a nutshell what did the whole of your meeting or whole of your presentation mean. You have to do it in a nutshell, in a summarize, by making it precise, and refer to your future action if needed. Like after this first session, you have to go. Yes, what is your match? Shake. Why did you raise hand? What do you want? Okay. Then refer to your future action after completion. You, whether you are going to take a second session on this, or what do you want your audience to do after this complete conclusion of this topic. You have to refer it to your audience clearly and concisely, that uh, if you have to come in such and such a way, well prepared, or you can even contact me with your in your mail, you can send messages like that. You have to clearly specify, and with a thank you. Always end your topic like we always do that. The last slide is the thank you slide. Okay, so end with thank you. If answering questions, tell your audience, I will now be happy to answer any questions. You have to give your audience a clear signal, clear information that you are now free to answer the queries that they have. Okay, then we have the presentation. We'll go to that. As the person is in charge of the situation when presenting, it is your job to make your audience feel comfortable and engaged with both you and the material of the presentation. Now it becomes the responsibility. You are responsible for your audience comfort. Whether you are making your audience comfortable, or are you making them uneasy by talking to them something they don't like to listen, or they don't want to listen, or they are listening but they don't want to react on that. That's why audience analysis is very important. If you're talking about some very sensitive topics to your audience, they might not be very comfortable with that, like you are talking about some taboo issues or issues of some religious sentiments, cultural sentiments. These kind of things will make the audience uncomfortable. So you have to make sure that your audience are very comfortable and in a very receptive move. I told you to, when you tell a joke to your audience, they become relaxed, because in a happy mode, when we are relaxed, our learning or receptiveness to learning is more. So that is why we have to first make them stress free. They should not go through any kind of stress or depression while you are listening to them. I mean, you should not raise certain issues which will bring them into confusion or make them uncomfortable about the whole situation. So right from the beginning of your entry into the hall or into the place where you are present, where you are doing the presentation, you have been doing eye contact with them. That's why it is said that maintain eye contact. It is not that start an eye contact. You have to, right from the beginning you have been doing that. So again, now also you have to maintain eye contact. Look, only look at notes or slides very briefly. Don't look into the look into the slides or whatever that is written on the board by showing your back to your audience. Never show your back to your audience. Maintain eye contact. Only look at the notes or slides very briefly. Sweep the room with your gaze, pausing briefly on various people. Don't keep on looking at one person only throughout your presentation, one or two or three people. Always keep turning your faces and looking into each person's eyes. They will feel that as if though you are looking at them and you are talking to them. It's always advised that you should be sweeping your room with your gaze, pausing also. And don't keep on glaring at one person throughout the presentation. Be aware of your, in trying to do concentrating more on your presentation, your word power and your vocabulary. Don't lose the body posture that you are supposed to have, that you are supposed to maintain a good body posture throughout your presentation. And be enthusiastic about your topic. If you are happy about what you are presenting, that will show in your personality. Okay. That you will be very much interested, you will be enthusiastic as to the way that you want to present. When you are happy, you are enthusiastic, you will show a lot of energy that will make you more confident. And if you are confident, your presentation will be much better than if you are nervous about it. When does that confidence come? When you are well prepared with the topic. If you, where you will be well prepared if you plan well, if you prepare well, if you practice well. Okay. It's like I always tell you, it's like one thing leading to the other. Things do not get stagnant, they keep on shifting from one, and it will be keeping on leading to another thing. Okay. That's why you need to be very enthusiastic about your topic. You need to be happy about your topic. Like now you are going to do concept video and tech talk videos. You are going to, if you are happy about your because that's why you have been given the choice to choose your topic. If you are very happy about, enthusiastic about one topic, and if you don't get that, you might not be so interested to give that. That's why you have been given the option to choose your own topic of your choice, so that you can be enthusiastic. And if you are enthusiastic, you will present well. And another thing is that you keep on smiling. Don't keep a frowning face or don't keep a serious face when you are doing some presentation. You need to have a very smiling face, because that is inviting, that is uh, giving you comfort. A smiling face is always a good face. Frowning and serious faces are not always a no to people. Slow your speech. I told you there might be some kind of physiological barrier in many people. So you have to slow your speech down. Don't run very fast, or don't say things in your mouth only, so that you and your neighbor can listen. Your pronunciation should be very clear. Your speech should be very sweet. You need to naturally talk faster when we naturally talk faster when we are nervous. So it is happening with us. Include pauses to allow your listeners to keep up and time for you to think ahead. So this way you can give your audience some time to think on the concept that you are using. Use gestures to emphasize points and move about the space if possible. What you have to do, gestures and postures like hand movement, body movement, okay, head movement, smiling face, blinking of the eyes, okay, um, and also the lines on your forehead, okay, your contact, eye contact, your gestures, your posture. Because of I told you, more than 65% of your communication is non-verbal communication, and another rest 35% is accompanied by some kind of gesture, posture, regulators, emblems. Remember this I told you in the previous class as well. So if there is some space for you to move around in that in the area, you have to try to do that. Okay. By doing such a thing, you can even uh, give them some space to think. If they see your confident body posture, non-verbal communication, this will make them more comfortable. Yeah. Then we will talk about PowerPoint presentation. It is very important. As the picture suggests, you can see a picture uh, is better than 1,000 words. I told you before. Use of PowerPoint and other presentation software is very common in presentation today. Care should be taken, however, that visual effects do not detract from the presentation itself. So here, what are the things that we have to keep in mind before, during, and while during presentation and while preparing the for the presentation? What are the things that you have to keep in mind when you are preparing the PPTs, preparing for the PPTs, preparing your lectures using the PPTs? Okay. And how to make the slides? What are the things that you should put in the slides, and what are the things that you should never put in the slides should be known to you very clearly. If you do choose to use PowerPoint, to try to have a practice run well in advance of a presentation, so that you are confident when giving the presentation itself. What sometimes happen is that we do not know the technological glitches that might suddenly arise during your presentation. So in trying to avoid this, we must know, uh, we must try to run that program well in advance properly and keep it ready for us, so that we are confident about the whole thing. Build your slides last. Why it is saying that? Because if you build the slides first and then you proceed with the presentation, then it is not going to serve its purpose. After complete planning is done, after your preparation is done on the topic as to what you are going to speak, you have to practice it. When you have read it several times, now you know where you have to uh, place your slides. You must now recognize now where you have to place your slides now. You should not ever try to replace you. The slides should not be a replacement of you. Instead of the presenter, the slides are being shown. No, never do that. When you are presenting the slides, you should give very little information. You should keep a few um, subheadings so that you elaborate on that, not the whole thing. Don't put lot of information in your slides. That will act as a great disaster. Instead of enhancing your presentation, if they go wrong, they are going to prove as a great disaster to your presentation. Use a consistent theme. Don't put slides because you like them, because they are necessary over there. If you put a slide, your presentation should become enhance. It has to improve rather than become a disaster. And only one narrative per. Don't dump. Again, don't put lot of information in one slide itself. Use one slide per narrative. If you want to present a concept, give only that topic, that segment on the slides. Don't put all that you have in that one slide only. Fade to black when speaking. What is it doing? It is replacing you. When your audience are seeing the slides, seeing the PPT, it is natural that their concentration is going away from you to the slides. They're leaving their attention. They are moving their attention from you as a speaker and putting it on the slides. Okay, that is why your importance as a speaker diminishes. And what happens in the last? When in doubt, dump it. If you think that this slide is not fitting or there is some doubt about it, just dump it. Don't try to use that. If you choose to use PowerPoint, try to have a practice run well in advance of a presentation so that you are confident when giving the presentation. Build your slides last, I told you. You could be tempted to start monk eyeing with slides early in your speech writing process. Don't. It's like building a road. Until you know where the road is heading, there is no point laying down sidewalks and planting trees. Your slides are there to add to a well-designed speech, not to replace it. Why do you think we are using slides? We are using slides to enhance our presentation. It's not designed uh, to replace you. Instead of you, the slides are being shown. No, it is not like that. It is going to help us to give a better presentation. Don't try to replace you. People come to listen to you, your thoughts, interpretations, insights, fancy transitions, YouTube clips, and tons of text steal from your content and delivery. Remembering every time you hit that clicker, the audience leaves you and goes to the screen. That's what I told you. If you are a presenter, don't put too much of information in your slide. Neither, give so much of importance to the slide that your importance is faded. Use a consistent theme. A consistent theme pulls together the variety in your images and message as you move from problem to solution. Create a custom theme simply with your title, a consistent vibe background. Like the picture suggests, look at my slide also. I have used on a consistent theme. 1 point, 1 picture, 1 narrative, 1 topic. That is all I have given in my slide. Look at its content. So you have to tailor make your own PPTs, your own slides you have to make according to your lecture, according to your audience analysis. Who are they who are going to come and listen to you? Are they your classmates, or they are your professors? Who is it that you are going to address the gathering to? So the advisor is saying that we must have one narrative per slide. It said that in a 60-minute speech for 1 hour speech, if you are giving, you can have 30 to 35 slides. That means 2 minutes per slide you have to talk on, depending on context, content, or complexity of the message. Yes, if the message is very elaborate, then it might need more slides. And if it is more important, mostly pictorial graphic designs are being presented to the audience, that the presenter might design his or her slides in such a way that he or she gets one narrative per slide, so that the person can talk 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes are more than enough, but I'm just keeping some time. So it is very important that we have a narrative, one narrative per slide. Okay. Fade to black when your slides are not the point, you are. When you fade to black, you regain your confidence, audience attention. For example, after presenting one solution, you fade to black while you explain on how to apply the solution in workplace. When in doubt, dump it. In the process of presentation, slides can be essential. They can also be a distraction. So when the presentation is going on, it can go in a very subtle manner if it is in the form of a lecture. But sometimes if they are not handled properly, PowerPoint presentation or the slides can prove to be disaster, as I told you earlier. Whether you want, when you are deciding whether you want the slides or not, you might be so confused that you might not use them properly. When you are struggling trying to decide if you need a slide or not, ask yourself, will it make my speech better? If not, dump it. Remember, nobody will miss what is in there. So the advice is said that whoever can handle it properly can use it. Okay. And you have to ask a question to yourself: if I show this, is it going to make my presentation better, or it is going to prove as a disaster to my presentation? If you answer that question to yourself, you will, if you feel, you will carry on with that. If you feel you should dump it, you will dump it. You will not carry it. What are the things that you have to do in this? You should not put too much of information in the slides. You need to use proper fonts. You need to also use the size of the format, the color of the uh, alphabets, whether they are properly visible to the last audience or not. What sometimes happens is the size of the font also makes a lot of difference. Sorry. If the size is also good, but if the ink is not proper, if the color of the font is not proper, like on a yellow background, if you write with yellow, if you use the ink yellow, it might not be visible properly to the last of the audience. Okay. So you need to take much care. You need to focus on that light color background. On that, you need to have opposite color type. I mean, opposite color alphabets. If on one white, you can use blue, black, red, this kind of dark colors. Okay. If the background, for example, it is black or dark blue, dark green and all, you can use a contrast color, light yellow, pastel colors, or white. You can always use pinks. You can always use. So so in this process of planning presentations, you have to always remember the 4 P's of presentation. Okay, and then what are the things that you have to do in making the slide? These are the 2 things that you must learn from class number